Recently, there's been a lot of questions that have been sent my way about trusting again. And so I want to take the next few blogs and talk about how do you trust again, what does trust look like, and how do you get there. So the next few blogs will be about that. And I hope to do it in such a way that the unfaithful can learn some things about winning and earning back trust, and share some things that the betrayed can understand conceptually that will really help you. I promise to not make these blogs in such a way where you, the betrayed, will go, look, listen to this and this will fix it. I've had people do that, so that is not my intention if you're an unfaithful watching these. My hope is to give you some stories and examples of what I've been through and how I blew it, as well as what I've learned from Rick and some of our other therapists, and just my journey of helping people as well. So for starters, you have to understand that trust cannot be evaluated per se right now. What I mean is, if you're in the middle of all this collateral damage and chaos and pain and hurt and disclosure and new disclosure, more information, it's not going to be the time to decide whether or not you can trust your spouse 2, 3, 4, 10 years down the road. You just don't know. It's far too volatile right now to be able to make a decision on whether or not they are trustworthy or going to be trustworthy. In essence, the journey right now is more about, are they safe? And I'll explain more about this, but safety is what really paves the way to one day restoring trust. Trust is won back over time through consistency and a vulnerability and an honesty and a few more constructs. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But the name of the game right now is safety. I know that at some level, some people are more unhealthy than others. And that's just the bottom line. Some of you are going to be dealing with some things that are off the chart. Some of you are dealing with some things that are pretty normal and kind of in the sweet spot. That's just the way this works. This isn't checkers where every piece is exactly the same and the board is exactly the same. This is more like chess with different pieces and different types of pieces, and they go in different places, and there's just a uniqueness to your situation. And we at A Fair Recovery completely respect that. I completely respect that because my situation had some unique idiosyncrasies that were just off the chart difficult, but yet the principles are still the same. So if you want to create safety if you're an unfaithful, or if you're looking for signs of safety, because remember, you can never talk about trust until you first talk about safety. So some of the things that create safety are number one, if you're an unfaithful, you can't keep putting yourself back into the same situations that caused the affair in the first place. That doesn't make your spouse feel safe. A lack of remorse does not make your betrayed spouse feel safe. If there's very little empathy, very little remorse, if there's very little grief over what you have done and how it's affected your spouse, you're not creating an atmosphere of safety for them. And if there's no atmosphere of safety, I promise you, there's not going to be a lot of trust reestablished anytime soon. Another variable is if you, the unfaithful, or if your spouse, the unfaithful, is not taking desperate measures to stop their behavior, to stop acting out, they're just not safe. If they're pushing you, get over it, move on, hurry, that's not a person that you're going to want to trust anytime soon, because they're proving to be unsafe, and if they're unsafe, you can't trust them. I was incredibly unsafe early on because I was like, let's hurry up, come on, you need to heal, we need to put all of this behind us, Samantha, all of this stuff, just move on down the road. That was not a safe person. I was not empathetic, I was not grieving, I was not drawing near to her in her pain, I was marginalizing her pain, I was bullying her, and I had no empathy for what I had done. one of the best indicating factors that your spouse is safe is that they're willing to do whatever it takes. Rick taught me, if you want Samantha to trust you and if you want Samantha to re-engage with you, you're going to have to be willing to do whatever it takes for her to feel safe. And I'll talk more about that in terms of accountability, safety measures, countermeasures when you're in unsafe situations, things like that. But there has to be safety. And if there's no safety, there's not going to be much trust at all, because there shouldn't be. It's vital that you understand, as a betrayed spouse, you cannot blindly trust someone that is not cultivating a safe atmosphere. And a safe atmosphere is best cultivated by a mentality of the unfaithful spouse to be willing to do whatever it takes to make you feel safe. If they're not willing to do that, then they're not safe, and I don't think that you want to trust them, because trusting them blindly really almost guarantees failure. Why would we trust someone who is going to just willpower their way through, or white knuckle it, as they say, and not be willing to do whatever it takes to get healthy and get into recovery? That person is not trustworthy. That person is not safe. You're rolling the dice every day on whether or not they're going to act out again, on whether or not they're truly sorry, on whether or not they're just sorry they got caught, and whether or not you really see the opportunity for the marriage to be repaired. See, in order to reestablish trust, you don't necessarily need trust, you need safety. Before you can ever talk about trusting again, you have to be able to first talk about a safe atmosphere for you and for your spouse to really operate in. Because without that, I'm sorry, there's not much hope.